everyone. I am Radical Redem, and in this video, I am going to be breaking down what I believe happens throughout the entire child timeline of the Zelda series. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Zelda timeline is broken down into a few parts, and my favorite line of the Zelda timeline just so happens to be the child timeline. What happens in Ocarina of Time, and what follows it if Link completes the game as the child. Alright, starting off, I'm just going to say this flat out. A lot of this is speculation on my part. It's not proven, it's possible though. Alright, first off, Ocarina of Time happens. Yep, it's that simple. I don't really need to go into that much. But following Ocarina of Time, I should also point out that some of these are somewhat dark and could be not good for children to hear, so viewer discretion is advised. So, after the events of Ocarina of Time, Link goes back to Lon Non Ranch and has something happen, and Malon ends up pregnant. So Link leaves on an adventure to find Navi, and he goes to Lost Woods, but since he no longer has his fairy to guide him, he becomes lost, dies in the woods, and becomes a Stalfos. Now, you're probably thinking, but wait, Radical, then what about the events of Majora's Mask? Well, I'm getting to that. And don't worry, we'll come back to the Malon being pregnant thing in a couple minutes. Alright, so the events of Majora's Mask are not reality. Basically, after Link died in the Lost Woods, he became a Stalfos, and he's basically, the events of Majora's Mask are him trying to cope with the fact that he's dead. That's why everything and everybody somewhat resembles something from Ocarina of Time. He's using his memories of people to try and establish the fact that he's not dead, but he is. So basically, the events of Majora's Mask happen, Link accepts the fact that he's dead, and moves on. He will be important later, though. Now we come back to Malon. Malon is a young girl. She's the daughter of a proud ranch owner, and basically, her father disowns her for being pregnant at such a young age. So she takes Epona and she goes and basically makes her own colony of farmers somewhere, which will eventually become a place called Wardon Village. You guys know where this is heading. Alright, so flash forward a tiny bit. Malon is in Wardon Village. She's established the colony, and basically some farmers have moved there, like some of the people you will meet in the video game Twilight Princess, or Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. I should be a little more accurate. Anyway, Malon gives birth to a healthy baby boy, but unfortunately she dies due to complications such as lack of medical technology and the fact that she is much too young to be a mother. Like, I'm talking she's like not even 10 or something, I don't know, like really young. So she dies, and the other villagers take it upon themselves to raise the baby boy, who they have named Link after his father. Now, Link grows up, being raised by his neighbors and friends, and he grows up and cue the events of Twilight Princess. This also explains how he has Epona, who was his dad's horse. And it also explains why Epona is still not an elder, because these events are probably basically when Link, Ocarina of Time Link was a child, well, Epona was basically really young. She was a pony. And then Epona does a lot of growing up alongside baby Link, or Twilight Princess Link. Thus why she is basically able to be ridden by him, because he's not exactly a small guy. So the events of Twilight Princess happen, and the new Link Jr., I'll refer to him as, goes on to start his own adventure to save the land of Hyrule. And along the way, he meets a strange figure, Stalfos, named Shade. Who is Shade, you might ask? Well, I'm going to bring up a quote from the game. The Stalfos Shade, at one point, after Link Jr. has learned all 7 sword fighting techniques from him, he calls him, "Go forth, my son, and do not falter." Now, this could just be everybody in the entire world over analyzing this, but I'm not even gonna deny it. Shade is the original Link from Ocarina of Time. Yep. So the events of Twilight Princess happen, and then basically that's it for that family line. Somewhere down the line, the events of Four Swords happen. Now, I haven't seen the entirety of Four Swords myself, so I don't know much about it, but as far as I know, there are not many tie-ins from the previous couple generations of Links, so it doesn't really make sense for me to bring it up that much, because I don't really see much of a connection. If you do, that's great. Feel free to leave it as a comment below. I'd be happy to hear it. I honestly enjoy knowing what the tie-in is. But for right now, that's basically it. I don't know if I'm going to have to come do more for this video if Nintendo releases some more Zelda games for the Child Timeline, but for right now, that's honestly about it. So, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and Legend of Zelda 4 Swords. It's a pretty complex timeline. A lot of dark stuff happened, a lot of good stuff happened. It's about all I have to say, honestly. One more thing. Basically, part of this timeline that I'm describing, my theories about it, part of it is my original ideas. They have been influenced, however. Specifically, my Majora's Mask theory. If you'd like to know where this theory came from, then you should go check out the Game Theorists, hosted by a guy named MatPat. He is a incredibly intelligent guy. He makes so many great theory videos. Honestly, I'm a big fan of him myself, if you couldn't tell. But if you want to get more concrete evidence on why Majora's Mask didn't actually happen, go check out his video. If I'm not wrong, that's actually one of the videos where Peanut Butter Gamer is there too, so if you're a fan of his, check it out. Alright guys, that's about all I have to say. So, I'll leave a link to that particular video in the description to this one, so I'll talk to you guys later. Radical Redem out.